My dad was forgetting the names of his own grandkids. That was the sentence that broke my heart. He had always been a sharp, active man, the kind who did crossword puzzles upside down just to challenge himself. But at 62, something changed. The small slips started where he left his keys, my mom's birthday, what he had for lunch the day before. They seemed harmless, until one day he looked at his own sister and asked, "Are you a friend of the family?" That was the moment fear hit hard. And maybe you're going through something similar right now. Maybe you're starting to feel like your mind isn't as quick, as clear as it used to be. The truth is, cognitive decline is silent and it affects over 40% of people over 60. And the scariest part, in many cases, it's irreversible if not addressed in time. Doctors call it mild neurodegeneration, but anyone who's lived it knows the real name should be loss of freedom. Because when your memory starts to slip, you stop trusting yourself, you stop driving with confidence, forget whether you've taken your medication, and struggle to hold a conversation without getting lost. It's like your world starts shrinking. But hold on, this video isn't here to scare you. It's here to show you something powerful and natural that could completely change how this story ends. When I started digging deeper into what was happening to my dad, I came across something that even his doctor found surprising. There are 7 specific vitamins, backed by science, that directly protect and help regenerate the aging brain. And the best part, they're accessible. Some of them might already be in your home, you just haven't been using them the right way. These vitamins helped my dad recognize his sister again. And not only that, he now does Sudoku every day, cooks for himself, and even learned to send voice messages to the grandkids on WhatsApp. And that's exactly what I want for you. In this video, I'm going to show you what these 7 vitamins are, how they work in your brain, how to add them to your daily routine, the ideal dose for older adults, the best natural sources, and even the common mistakes that cancel out their effects without you realizing it. This information could truly change lives, just like it changed my dad's. And no, these aren't your average multivitamins. Some of them you've probably never heard of. Others are being studied in top labs around the world for their potential to reverse early signs of brain degeneration. So stick with me until the end, because on top of the 7 vitamins, I'm going to share a surprise tip, a simple recipe made with a natural ingredient that can speed up the results of these vitamins in your body. It's something you can do at home, with items you probably already have in your fridge. Before we jump in, take a second to subscribe to the channel. This isn't just to support Who Sits, to help people like you who are looking for real, trustworthy knowledge to live better after 50. So many people don't have access to books, medical journals, or regular doctor visits. When you subscribe, you're helping spread this life-changing information. Plus, you'll always stay updated with the best health tips for your stage of life. Now, let's get to it. Vitamin 1, vitamin B12, fuel for your memory. Most people don't realize this, but one of the main causes of mental confusion in people over 60 isn't Alzheimer's, it's a B12 deficiency. Yes, you heard that right. This simple vitamin is absolutely crucial for brain function. Vitamin B12 plays a direct role in the production of myelin, protective layer that coats your nerves, much like insulation around electrical wires. This coating keeps your brain signals fast and clear. Without enough B12, those signals get slow and jumbled, leading to forgetfulness, dizziness, lack of focus, and even balance problems. It's like your brain is trying to function with damaged wiring. And here's a scary fact. Up to 20% of older adults have a B12 deficiency and don't even know it. Why? Because the body's ability to absorb this vitamin drops drastically with age, even if you eat well. But here's the good news. When my dad started supplementing with B12 the right way, the results were incredible. He said the mental fog he'd been living with started to lift. He could remember appointments again, focus for longer periods, and even sleep better. And science backs this up. A study published in Neurology showed that adequate B12 levels are directly linked to preserving brain volume in older adults. Another study from Oxford University found that supplementing with B12 and folic acid reduced brain atrophy by up to 30% in people with mild cognitive impairment. So how can you actually get more B12? This vitamin is found in animal-based foods, so if you're vegetarian or eat very little meat, you need to pay extra attention. Here are the richest sources. Beef liver, one of the highest sources, though many people avoid it due to the taste. A good trick is to saute it with garlic and onions and mix it into rice or beans. Canned sardines, affordable, convenient, and easy to find. 2 servings a week can make a difference. Lean red meat, such as sirloin or stew cuts, preferably slow-cooked to preserve nutrients. Eggs, especially the yolk. Milk and dairy products, like natural yogurt and aged cheeses. Just be mindful if you're lactose intolerant or on a low-fat diet. But here's the key point. Even if you're eating all of this, your body might still not be absorbing B12 efficiently. This can happen for several reasons, like low production of intrinsic factor, a protein that helps with absorption, certain medications like omeprazole, or even past intestinal infections. That's why supplementation can be a powerful ally. Here are the most common forms of B12. Sublingual tablets placed under the tongue to dissolve. This method bypasses the digestive system, improving absorption. It's a favorite among experts for people over 50. Oral drops easy to use, especially if swallowing pills is a challenge. Injections typically given monthly, used for severe deficiencies or poor intestinal absorption. Multivitamin complexes always check the dosage. Many contain only trace amounts. You want at least 500 mcg per dose. The most recommended form for people over 50 is methylcobalamin. It's already in its active form, so your body doesn't have to convert it. General recommendations for those without a diagnosed deficiency range from 500 to 1,000 mcg per day, but if you're already experiencing cognitive symptoms, higher doses might be needed, always under medical supervision. Any side effects? Very few. But if you have chronic kidney disease or are taking certain medications like antibiotics or anti-seizure drugs, talk to your doctor first. And what happens if you ignore this vitamin? B12 deficiency can not only speed up cognitive decline, it can also cause hidden depression, tingling in the hands and feet, loss of balance and frequent falls, constant fatigue, even after a full night's sleep. Worst of all, it can be mistaken for more serious neurological conditions, which delays proper treatment. So give B12 the attention it deserves. It might just be the turning point for regaining mental clarity, energy, and even your confidence in daily life. And hold on tight, because the next vitamin has the power to protect your brain from silent inflammation that eats away at your memory without you even noticing. And it might be hiding in a common kitchen ingredient you already have at home. Vitamin D, the hidden key to memory. Most people know vitamin D as the sunshine vitamin, essential for bone health. But what few realize is that it plays a critical role in brain function, especially after age 60. This was another discovery that truly surprised us. When my dad began showing signs of forgetfulness, one of the first tests we ran was for vitamin D. The result? Critically low levels. And here's the strange part, he got sunlight every morning. So what was going on? The answer lies in how the body processes this vitamin. As we age, our skin gradually loses the ability to synthesize vitamin D efficiently. So even if you're getting sun exposure, if it's not at the right time or for long enough, your body won't make what it needs. On top of that, older adults often avoid direct sun for skin health, use sunscreen, which is important, or simply spend more time indoors. All of this drastically reduces natural vitamin D production. But what exactly does vitamin D do for your brain? It acts as a powerful inflammation regulator. Without it, the brain becomes vulnerable to silent inflammatory processes that over time can impact memory, mood, and even motor coordination. It also supports the release of key neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which are directly linked to pleasure, well-being, and mental clarity. It was only after we started supplementing vitamin D the right way that my dad began to regain some of the mental energy he had lost. His focus improved, his mood became more stable, and his physical stamina returned. Research shows that low levels of vitamin D are associated with a significantly higher risk of dementia, depression, and cognitive decline. A study from the University of Exeter in the UK, involving over 18,000 seniors, found that those deficient in vitamin D were more than twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's in the following years. So how can you make sure you're getting enough vitamin D effectively? While sunlight is important, supplementation is almost always necessary after age 50. The most recommended form is vitamin D3 glycosylphyrol, which your body absorbs and uses more efficiently. A safe maintenance dose ranges from 2,000 to 4,000 IU per day, but ideal levels should be confirmed by a blood test. And here's a crucial tip. Vitamin D must be taken with fat to be absorbed correctly. Never take it on an empty stomach. The best way? Combine it with meals that include healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, eggs, or nuts. Many people take their supplements faithfully, but see no results simply because they're taking them the wrong way. Also worth noting, vitamin D works even better when combined with magnesium and vitamin K2. These help activate the vitamin in your body and prevent calcium from ending up in the wrong places, like your arteries or kidneys. Any side effects? The main risk is overdoing it. Taking very high doses over a long period can lead to calcium buildup in the blood, hypercalcemia, which can be dangerous. That's why you should never self-prescribe megadoses without medical supervision. But within the recommended range, vitamin D is a powerful ally for brain health. If you're feeling chronic fatigue, unexplained sadness, or frequently forget small things, your brain could quite literally be thirsty for this vitamin. And that brings us to the next essential nutrient, one that acts like a personal bodyguard for your brain, fighting off the oxidative stress and free radicals that silently age your mental cells every day. Vitamin E, the brain's antioxidant shield. Imagine your brain as a machine that never stops. Every single day, it processes thoughts, memories, decisions, and emotions. But over time, even the most powerful engines start to wear down. One of the biggest culprits behind this mental wear and tear is oxidative stress caused by free radicals, unstable molecules that attack brain cells and speed up cognitive aging. That's where vitamin E comes in. Vitamin E acts like a shield. It's a powerful antioxidant that protects your brain cells from these silent attacks. When my dad began his recovery from memory loss, one of the first things the doctors recommended was adding vitamin E to his daily routine. The effect wasn't instant, but over time, we saw a clear difference. He became more alert, more engaged in conversations, and much less confused. His short-term memory, once full of gaps, began to function more reliably. What's even more impressive are the studies backing this up. A publication in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that seniors with higher levels of vitamin E in their blood had up to a 36% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's. And that's not all it. Also helps protect against the decline in cognitive abilities like reasoning, decision-making, and mental processing speed. The best part, you don't have to rely solely on supplements to get enough vitamin E. You can get solid levels through food. Sunflower seeds, almonds, avocados, extra virgin olive oil, spinach, and even egg yolks are all rich sources. To give you a practical idea, adults over 50 are generally recommended to get about 15 milligrams of vitamin E daily. That's roughly a generous handful of almonds or a tablespoon of sunflower seeds at breakfast. Using olive oil regularly in your meals is another great way. Just avoid frying with it, as high heat can destroy the very nutrients you're trying to preserve. If you go for a supplement, choose the natural form, D-alpha-tocopherol, as it's better absorbed by the body. But here's a word of caution: don't overdo it. In high doses, vitamin E can act as a blood thinner, increasing the risk of bleeding, especially if you're already on medication for that. Always talk to a healthcare professional before starting any supplement. Now here's a golden tip: pair vitamin E with vitamin C. Together, they enhance each other's antioxidant power and become a sort of brain protection duo. One easy way to do that: a snack with natural acerola juice and mixed nuts. Simple, tasty, and effective. Now think about this. If you're not protecting your brain from oxidative damage every day, who will? Today's mild forgetfulness could turn into tomorrow's confusion. Loss of focus can slowly become a loss of identity. It's a domino effect, and vitamin E might be the piece that stops the fall. And if you've already tried everything to improve your memory and nothing worked, don't worry, because vitamin number 5 might just be the game changer. Especially if your issue is lack of concentration or difficulty learning new things. But before we get there, let's talk about vitamin 4. It comes with a surprising medicinal recipe that's been making a real difference in the lives of people who feel like their brains are stuck in slow motion. Vitamin 4, choline, the hidden brain booster. Hardly anyone talks about this one. But when I discovered the role of choline in brain health, everything started to make sense. Yes, it's technically part of the B-complex vitamin family, even though most people have never even heard of it. The truth is, without enough choline, your brain simply doesn't function well, period. That's exactly what happened with my dad. His short-term memory was in bad shape. He'd forget what he'd just said, lose track of conversations, and couldn't remember basic tasks. Yet, all his test results came back normal. Nothing seemed off until one specialist suggested, let's check his choline levels. And guess what? They were shockingly low. Choline is essential for the production of acetylcholine, a key neurotransmitter responsible for memory, learning, and muscle control. Without it, communication between neurons breaks down. It's like trying to watch TV with a loose cable. The screen flickers, the sound stutters, and nothing works the way it should. Here's the surprising part. Choline becomes even more important as we age because the body naturally produces less of it over time. So even if your levels were fine at 30, things can look very different by the time you're 60 or 70. And if you're not paying attention, this silent deficiency could be slowly chipping away at your mental clarity. So how can you get choline effectively? One of the best natural sources is egg yolk. That's right, the often unfairly demonized villain of so many diets. Just one egg provides about 150 milligrams of choline. For adults over 50, the recommended daily intake is around 425 milligrams for women and 550 milligrams for men. That means just 2 to 3 eggs a day can go a long way toward meeting your needs. Other great sources include chicken, liver, salmon, cauliflower, and broccoli. But if you're like most people who rarely eat liver and only remember broccoli on Sundays, eggs are probably your most practical option. And here's the recipe I promised: egg paste with olive oil and turmeric. Just hard-boil 2 eggs, mash the yolks well, and mix them with a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, a pinch of turmeric, and salt to taste. This simple combo boosts choline absorption thanks to the healthy fats in the olive oil and adds an anti-inflammatory bonus from the turmeric. That's ETA, tasty, brain-nourishing breakfast. If you prefer supplements, the most recommended forms are citicoline or alpha-GPC, both highly bioavailable and well-studied for their direct impact on cognitive function. But a word of caution: supplements should be used carefully, especially if you have kidney or liver issues. Always consult a healthcare provider. And what happens if you ignore this silent vitamin? Over time, a choline deficiency can be linked to dementia, brain fog, and even mood disorders. A brain without choline is like a car without fuel. It might start, but it's not going anywhere. In fact, if you're eating well but still struggle with memory lapses at crucial moments, you might be missing something simple but essential. I've pinned a special resource in the comments, a natural protocol based on an unusual salmon recipe that my own father used during his recovery. Not many people know about it, but the results we saw were remarkable. Take a look. It might be the missing link your brain has been asking for all along. And it could be sitting in your fridge right now. You just haven't used it the right way. Now get ready for the next part, because vitamin 5 goes way beyond memory. It acts like a brain repair tool and can be crucial for people who've had a stroke, suffered head trauma, or struggle with persistent forgetfulness. Vitamin 5, vitamin B6. The neurotransmitter engineer. Ever had that feeling where you're trying to focus, but your brain just won't cooperate? Or maybe you forget a word mid-sentences if it vanished into thin air. That could be tied to a subtle but serious deficiency in vitamin B6, one of the key players in brain health. Vitamin B6 works like an engineer on your brain's construction crew. It helps build the neurotransmitters that keep your mind sharp: serotonin, dopamine, GABA. They all depend on B6 to exist. Without it, your brain literally slows down, thinking becomes sluggish, mood swings creep in, and short-term memory starts to falter. And there's more. Vitamin B6 plays a key role in lowering homocysteine levels, an inflammatory compound that, when elevated, can damage blood vessels in the brain and significantly increase the risk of Alzheimer's. Together with B12 and folic acid, it forms a powerful trio against brain aging. What's surprising is how sensitive B6 is to heat. So even if you eat a balanced diet, overcooking your food might be wiping out a large portion of this essential nutrient. On top of that, several common medications for people over 50, like those for high blood pressure or arthritis, can interfere with B6 absorption. So how do you make sure you're getting enough? You'll find B6 in foods like bananas, chicken, salmon, sweet potatoes, spinach, avocados, and nuts. For adults over 50, the recommended daily intake is about 1.7 milligrams, but some studies suggest slightly higher doses. Under medical supervision, could offer extra neurological support. Here's a practical tip for better absorption of B6. Pair it with magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds or chickpeas. This duo works better together. A simple and tasty example: sweet potato mash, drizzled with olive oil and topped with pumpkin seeds. Easy, delicious, and functional. And yes, you probably already have these ingredients in your kitchen. Neglecting this vitamin could come at a high price. Over time, B6 deficiency can lead to tingling in hands and feet, mental confusion, low immunity, insomnia, and even depression. All of that can be eased or even avoided with a simple dietary adjustment. If you've tried everything to boost your memory and nothing's worked, hold on, because vitamin 6 coming up next might change everything. It was the turning point in my father's recovery, and maybe it will be yours too. Vitamin 6, vitamin C, your brain's bodyguard. Most people don't associate vitamin C with memory. When we think about it, we picture colds, immunity, oranges. But what few realize is that this vitamin acts like a real bodyguard for your neurons. That's right. Vitamin C is one of the most powerful antioxidants in the body. And guess where it works hardest? In the brain. Even though the brain only makes up about 2% of our body weight, it uses over 20% of the oxygen we breathe. This high demand generates a flood of free radicals, molecules that, if not neutralized, can accelerate aging in brain cells. That's where vitamin C steps in, shielding your neurons from oxidative stress. Without this protection, it's like leaving an entire city without law enforcement. The damage quietly builds up. Recent memory starts to slip, focus fades, and over time, even your mood may take a hit. Here's a surprising fact. The brain stores high concentrations of vitamin C, especially in the hippocampus, the region responsible for memory formation. When vitamin C levels drop, cognitive performance tends to drop with it. Studies show that older adults with healthy vitamin C levels perform better on memory tests, logical reasoning, and motor coordination, and face a lower risk of dementia. But here's the catch. Your body doesn't store vitamin C for long. That's why daily intake is essential. The general recommendation for adults is at least 90 milligrams per day. But many experts suggest higher doses safely for deeper antioxidant protection. So how do you make sure you're getting enough? Vitamin C is abundant in fruits like acerola, guava, kiwi, strawberries, oranges, and lemons, as well as vegetables like broccoli, red bell peppers, raw cabbage, and kale. Here's a crucial detail. Vitamin C is easily lost when exposed to heat and air. That means the best way to get its full benefits is by consuming foods raw or using quick preparations like fresh juices, salads, or lightly steamed veggies. A glass of acerola and lemon juice in the morning, for example, already gives you more than twice the recommended daily amount. And if you want to boost it even further, throw in a small piece of fresh ginger. It not only adds a kick of flavor, it also enhances the anti-inflammatory effects of vitamin C. But a word of caution. If you have kidney issues, such as a history of stones, talk to your doctor before increasing your vitamin C intake through supplements. In sensitive individuals, high doses can raise the risk of kidney stone formation. Now, imagine this. What if the simple habit of drinking a natural juice at breakfast could strengthen your memory and protect your brain from Alzheimer's? That's exactly what science is showing us. Ignoring this is like leaving your mind unprotected, no defense, no shield, and completely vulnerable to time. And speaking of time, the next nutrient, coming up in Block 8, is one of the most mysterious and surprising of the entire list. Almost no one talks about it, but it marked a real turning point in my father's cognitive recovery. If you've made it this far, stay with me until the end, because this next block might connect all the missing pieces in the memory puzzle you've been trying to solve for years. Vitamin 7, vitamin K2, the hidden guardian that keeps your brain from hardening. This vitamin rarely makes the list when it comes to brain health, but it should. Vitamin K2 is like the forgotten puzzle piece that, once placed, makes everything come together. It plays a quiet but powerful role, preventing calcium from building up where it shouldn't, like in your arteries, your heart, and your brain. Why does that matter? Because calcium deposits in the wrong places are directly linked to reduced blood flow to the brain. And over time, that means your brain receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients, leading to memory loss, mental fog, and in more severe cases, even neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Vitamin K2 acts like smart traffic control for calcium. It directs the mineral to your bones, where it belongs, and keeps it away from places where it could cause damage. Without it, calcium is basically free to wreak havoc wherever it wants. Now here's the most important part. Most adults are deficient in vitamin K2. It's not present in the majority of Western diets. Even people who eat well may not be getting enough and have no idea. So, where can you find K2? It's abundant in fermented foods like traditional Japanese natto fermented soybeans, which is extremely rich in K2, but has a strong taste that most people don't enjoy. More accessible sources include aged cheeses, egg yolks from free-range chickens, chicken liver, butter from grass-fed cows, and some types of natural fermented yogurt. There's still ongoing research about the ideal daily intake, but many experts recommend between 100 and 200 mcg per day for adults over 50, especially those seeking both heart and brain protection. And here's an interesting bonus. Vitamin K2 works even better when paired with vitamin D3. Together, they guide calcium with precision. D3 improves absorption, while K2 tells it exactly where to go. That's why, if you're supplementing with vitamin D, it's smart to combine it with K2, ideally in the MK7 form, which offers better absorption and longer-lasting effects. Ignoring this vitamin is a silent risk. Over time, vascular hardening in the brain can lead not only to memory loss but also to increased intracranial pressure, and even the loss of independence in simple everyday tasks like cooking, driving, or remembering a loved one's name. So ask yourself, could this be the hidden reason your cognitive health isn't improving? And now, an important heads up. If you felt that this information is helping you better understand how to take care of your mind, then you'll want to see this. I've left something special in the pinned comments, a little-known suggestion, used by integrative doctors that played a key role in my father's recovery. It's based on a simple homemade remedy using medicinal salmon, easy to find and prepare, and it might be the missing link your routine needs. It costs nothing to take a look, and it could bring you everything: focus, mental clarity, and your energy back. It's waiting for you right there, easy to spot. Now, out of all 7 vitamins we covered, which one do you struggle the most to include in your daily routine? I'd really love to know, because your answer might be the very first step toward helping you overcome that challenge in a practical, effective way. And if you found these tips helpful, you've got to check out this other video on the channel where I reveal the 5 best foods to prevent memory loss in older adults. You'll be surprised by a common mistake that could be sabotaging your memory right now, and hardly anyone notices it. Click and watch now.